Hello and welcome to Pals Pulls for April 13th, 2023. I am your host, Sean. I am joined today by only two of the other pals. We've got
Hmm.
Kale
What's up, hot dogs?
and Tyler.
I would like to eat a hot dog.
You know what?
Uh,
I would
Gobble
too.
some glizzies.
I don't know
Wow.
about that second thing, but I would eat a hot dog.
They got hot
Wow.
dogs where you are?
I mean, they have hot dogs, but they're not like I can't go somewhere and like
Bangers.
get a hot dog.
It's
Yeah.
bangers. Got blood sauce.
Yeah.
Well, if Tyler's talking food, that means Tyler's a hungry boy, which means
Kale brought it up.
no. Kale referenced something and then you drove it all the way.
Just like a
So
boat driving a guy water skiing behind it.
what? Okay,
That
listen.
one was
So
for
we've
Kale.
got
Yeah.
we've got comics to talk about today. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy #1. I don't know what.
Cowboy edition.
Yeah, right. I don't know what volume this is, but apparently this is
60.
only Legacy 181 of the Guardians. So
I'm gonna look that up by the way while I'm very
yeah,
curious.
sure. Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #3. We are in our year 1000 era for that book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Usagi
Ooh.
Yojimbo, WhereWhen #1. Uh, I didn't want this cover. Don't ask. I would much prefer to have some really great art on this. Maybe I can do something with this cover, get someone to draw on it or something like that. But I wouldn't know who to go to. Who should I get to draw on this?
Ooh, so you got to get an Usagi Yojimbo sketch.
Okay.
Um,
Or
Eric
like
Larson.
oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Or like an original Turtles creator, Eastman or Laird, or Sophie Campbell are the hot ones.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because I
And
don't
then
like that
and then
cover.
you can give it
Bring it
to
to Comic Con. We'll figure it out.
you can give it to me for my birthday.
Kale would love that.
Well, you shouldn't have said that because now I can't do it. That's where my mind
Yes.
went, but you can't speak those things.
Don't worry. Even if it's on the internet forever, I've said it on the podcast. I'll forget it in 2 seconds.
And we've got the listener pick this week. The Seasons Have Teeth #1.
What is that?
Yeah, this is the holographic cover.
Man,
Whoa.
gimmick cover week for Sean.
Yeah.
Volume 7, Sean. Volume 7.
Okay. Um, yeah. Let's
Lower
get
that,
right
huh?
into it. Let's just talk Grootfall, or well, Guardians
Well,
of the
yeah.
Galaxy #1, which is the Grootfall arc. Uh, this was a pretty anticipated book. We haven't had a Guardians book in a little bit, not too long, if I remember correctly, but it's been a little tiny bit. Colin
Mm.
Kelly and Jackson Lansing are, of course, the writing duo. I don't even know if I've ever seen either one of them with a credit that didn't include the other. But they're joined by Kev Walker on art, with Matt Hollingsworth on the colors, and letters by Corey Pettit. This is, I don't know what the Guardian status quo was prior to this. I got the impression that this sort of is its own thing. Is that accurate, Tyler? Do you know that?
Its own thing in what sense? Like out of continuity?
No. In the sense that like it's not really piggybacking off of the last volume or wherever that left off.
Setting up a new status quo.
No, I believe this is all in media res, right? Right, Kale? Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Like literally just throwing us in.
Okay.
I don't think it has any kind of even the costume designs, nothing. I
And
think
it feels like that.
the biggest thing is like, oh, Drax is back because Drax hasn't really worked with the Guardians in a while, from what I remember. I think the last run was Ewing's run on
Okay.
Guardians. Yeah, so been a couple years.
Huh. I didn't know there was a run after Ewing's run.
There isn't. No.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
great.
it. Yep.
So it's the Guardians in a new environment. You know, they drop in on this town and it's got this real Western feel to it. And I think the creative team does a good job playing that up. It's funny. And it's a good setting for the Guardians. I had fun with this. I don't think it was amazing, but I had fun with it.
Yeah, it was fun seeing. I don't know. It was fun reading a Western.
Mm.
And we we touched on this last week. A space Western is the best.
Yeah.
But it was very. We say this a lot, but it felt very paint by numbers. Very, very basic. Very
Mm.
little plot or little
For
story, I guess.
yeah,
Plot was fine.
for me, it felt very cinematic in the sense that it's very much a cold open.
Yeah.
There's not much here outside of establishing who the team is, and then the big, reveal at the end there. I mean, out of all the books, this is my pick of the week. I think having Kev Walker on art definitely helps. I love Kev Walker. I've always loved Kev Walker. Some of the most iconic pages in my head are like back when I was reading like Avengers Arena. Big fan of that. And the Kev Walker stuff there is great. I like the designs of these costumes. I had started to hate how MCU the Guardians started looking.
Yeah.
And this is kind of not that.
Well, yeah, except that now Star Lord looks like Rick Grimes.
Which I'm fine with. Fine with that. That's actually
The
kind
new
of
look, I
what I
guess
remember
that's-
what him looking like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love a writing duo on Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a big Abnett and Lanning Guardians fan. So, and I've liked a lot of what Lansing and Kelly have done. So, yeah, I thought this was fun. I think the distinct lack of Rocket Raccoon, odd given the movie trailers, and B, is refreshing in a comic book, which is weird to say, but Rocket's always been a mainstay, so him not being part of that dynamic lets the other characters breathe a little more. Like Mantis actually gets to do stuff in this, which I thought was fun. Yeah, I had fun with this. I like how it even like played with Western tropes and kind of bucked them. Maybe a little telegraphed, but it still plays with it.
Yeah, I guess for me, I don't know what the Guardians were like before James Gunn's movie. So I have no frame of reference. However, I always felt like from the movies, if you remove the James Gunn of it, these could be like very serious people. Like these are people that have been through some heavy, heavy stuff, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for from the Guardians. Not because that's just what I want out of comics, but because I've only seen the Guardians have only been portrayed one way for almost a decade now. I would like to see something a little different. And this plays on the edge of that, but there's also a lot of goofiness. And there's this, that's fine. There's no reason why comics have to be grimdark. I just would like to see the Guardians involved in something a little bit different. We don't know exactly what the Grootfall thing is. We get a very good idea of it towards the end, and it's pretty gruesome and horrible. But we got to see how this is affecting the Guardians. We have to see the emotional toll that this is taking. Where is Rocket? How do they feel about him not being there? Obviously, that's a question. I don't think Rocket's absent just because they didn't feel like using him. Groot being gone, Rocket being gone, all makes sense, and I'm cool with that. I just want to see them tap into these characters emotionally. That's the biggest key for me.
I mean, for me, I don't think Groot's gone. I think that we see Groot in this. Groot has always
not
been
on the team.
Sure. But in my head, I'm always think that Groot was, he was a monster originally in his first appearance. Like he was just a Kirby monster. So seeing a more monstrous version of that is interesting. But yeah, and then his best friend's not here. It's like, all right, something happened, to get us here.
If I recall correctly, Al Ewing established that I almost said Chris Pratt.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. I do. I want to keep calling him Chris Pratt. That's just in my head.
That's Mario.
And Garfield, apparently. We heard this.
Oh, yeah, I have, yeah.
Awful. I think Al Ewing established in his run that Star-Lord and Rocket are also like best friends, super tight, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that emotional link, you know, that emotional triumvirate is gone.
And yeah, and that's been established. So, Sean, first of all, my next book club recommendation is going to be the original Guardians because that is your jam. I'm telling you.
All right, let's do it.
And like Rocket was the first person that Star-Lord approached for a Guardian. Like, so they've always been pretty close. So yeah, them missing here. And does this Grootfall thing feel very Borgish to you, Kale?
It's
I'm thinking
sort
like
of,
Borg cube assimilating in a way, destroying planets.
sort of, but it feels like more like a killer tumbleweed.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like the organic Borg in a way. If Borg is technology based, yeah.
The Borganic.
Yeah, organic. I didn't realize that Borg is like organic bio or oh my god, I'm an idiot. All right.
The art's real good. I love Kev Walker's Gamora. She looks fantastic. Everybody else looks pretty cool too. I think Star-Lord looks really great here. These costume designs are fantastic. I even like the crazy spider mech. I was just about to get annoyed. Like, wait a second. Why is it that every single team book relaunch features a mech over the last few years?
Yeah.
And we've covered that. But the Guardians don't end up in a mech, so I was like, okay, you get a pass. And then B, this one actually genuinely looked cool as hell. I love spider mechs. And then Drax just man-moding it and just throwing that shit. Like, okay, Drax. Yeah. I didn't realize you were in the weight room. No, this was good comics. This was fun.
The one thing I'm glad that the Guardians comics have not leaned into in terms of, you know, MCU relations is like Drax is always a badass and he's not funny.
Right.
Like exactly. In the comics, Drax's whole thing is like, I need to kill Thanos. Like that is his MO. And like he has here and there, you know, it's a weird relationship there. I'm waiting for the enemies to lovers arc for Drax and Thanos, but seeing him back in this and he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this Halo-esque mech thing and just topple it, which seems like a design flaw. But yeah, I thought that was fun.
Damn, this might now be my book of the week. I think we talked me into it.
Just the whole you get to the standoff, you know, in like the western town, and then Gamora just ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was fun. Yeah.
Wasn't it a little bit weird? I don't know, but I just had this thought of like Gamora's straight up gutting people.
Yeah.
And we see that, but then they bleep out all like curse words.
In my head, they're not bleeping it. They're just saying words I can't pronounce.
Right. Like flarkin or flirkin.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, this is good. Pull it. I think you will have fun. I can't really think of a reason why you shouldn't buy this. It is $5, but it's quality. Oh yeah, that is a legitimate mark. Yeah. Marvel has to chill the hell out, but you know, provided you've got the means, which if you are a comic book weekly reader, you probably do. This is worth your money. It is an enjoyable comic, and I will definitely be returning to see what else this creative team has cooking.
John, where do you stand on, like, obviously we know how you feel about pirates. Where do you stand on cowboys?
Yeah, you know, I don't really care for cowboys either, actually.
Wow.
There's only one cowboy that I can think of that I like, and that's Roland Deschain. Does anybody know who that is?
No.
No, the Dark Tower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
You're not a fan of Woody?
Woody, yeah, okay. Woody's cool too.
Got snakes in his boot, you know.
Yeah, those are the only two cowboys that I mess with. Otherwise, who's the one? Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger. He was a cowboy.
Yeah.
You ever see? Sorry, never mind. I'm about to go on a tangent. Just never mind.
You stopped me from going on a tangent, so we're even.
All right, we're good. You just brought up.
Here, let me go on one.
Go ahead, Cal.
Wait, no, let me go on one by telling you guys where you can find us all over the internet. We are, of course, the Comics Pals on all social media platforms. You type that into the Google machine, you will find us. I know because I did that this week. Thank you to everybody that supports us on patreon.com/the comics pals. We really appreciate it. For as little as $3 a month, you get access to our newsletter. A little bit more scratch opens you up to the world of the comics pals. We've got an exclusive show over there for you guys to check out. You get to vote in our monthly book club poll and so much more. We would love to have you come hang out on our Discord server as well, where we are always having a great time chatting it up. Today was a busy day over on the Discord, between Kale's impending backflip, comics talk, old X-Men books, you name it. We're talking it on our Discord server. We're always having fun over there. Book club wise, we just did Far Sector. That's out now. If you want to support that, check that out. Great book. You should pick it up just because. Forget us for a moment. Pick that book up. But then do listen to our book club because it was really good. If you want to watch this show live, you can do that every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. The main show is at 10:15 a.m. Eastern every Saturday, coming off the heels of Jeff Johns. This week, we will be talking about the new comic book publisher that was announced today, Distillery, and a whole host of other things. What I'm excited for, is, of course, the Alan Moore talk. Twilight of the Superheroes will be returning this Saturday. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. Super chats are open on YouTube. Subs are available on Twitch if you want to support the show that way. Subs are free on Twitch if you've got an Amazon Prime account. We appreciate everybody who does that. Like the video so that you let YouTube know that you're enjoying what we're doing. Let's roll on to year 1000 in Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, number 3. This is, of course, Al Ewing on the scripts, who hasn't missed much between X-Men Red, Sword, and this. Alessandro Vitti on art, Rain Barreto on colors, Ariana Mayer on the letters. This is the end of the Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants portion of Sins of Sinister. We only have 2 issues overall to go. We see a resurrection here. In a sense, they bring Storm back.
Apropos of Easter.
That's good.
She is risen.
That's funny. They really, Al Ewing is really intent on positioning Storm as like the greatest mutant of all time.
I mean,
he's right.
Well deserved.
I don't disagree with that. I just think it's interesting that the character who people complained about correctly the most being underutilized for the last 3 years plus is the one that is being positioned as the greatest of all time. There has to be some type of reason for that. Al Ewing clearly just has good taste.
He does.
What do you think about this book? What's your taste buds telling you about this comic book?
This this went, it turned the Al Ewing up to 11. And normally I love Al Ewing, but this was just a little too much for me. It's not really a continuation. It's weird because the previous 2 issues were kind of continuations of their own issues. I felt like they're kind of almost standalone from the greater Sins of Sinister. But now I feel like these issue 3s are almost like their own trilogy in a sense by themselves. This is like a direct continuation of what we read in Immoral X-Men number 3, which is like what is the design of this event? And then this was just very narration heavy. It introduces these new characters that we get to see for maybe 3 panels. They're cool, but it was a lot. I don't think it was bad, but it was just a little too much for me.
I had a great time.
Huh? Storm Mark, I got it.
You know what? I like Storm. I don't even like Storm that much. I think what I enjoyed the most was the narration. That to me read like what is it? Is it Sean Bean in 300?
Sean Bean's in 300.
Yeah. I think he's the narrator. He's the person.
Really?
actually telling the story over like a campfire, passing the legend of the 300 to other Spartans.
Mm.
And yeah, this whole thing just sounded to me like he was narrating the epic battle.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I think I fall somewhere between you all in the sense that there were parts of this that I really liked, but I think more than what is happening, because in a vacuum, what we're seeing, I don't like. Zany, crazy, huge Emma, right? Like that's not my thing.
A mech.
Yeah,
A
mech Emma. I'm not into that. That can work though, right? The problem for me, and some of that stuff's good and funny. The bigger issue for me is that so much of this has to be established just in the one issue that I have a hard time even wrapping my mind around. Like the issue threes of this series have synergy, right? Like we were first introduced to this version of Emma in the last issue, whatever Immoral X-Men. So there's synergy there, but it's just, different creative teams, radically different art, different new characters that we now have to learn about. And it's just like, I can't keep up. And I don't think the story can keep up. I think it's too much for the scope of a 22-page comic book that has to function as the closing of a 3-issue piece unto itself, satisfy the characters that are already there, introduce new characters and satisfy their ends as well. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I think that this script buckles under the pressure. I do.
I also thought the art was a little muddy. And I know it's Alessandro Vitti, who I think it's the same creative team that actually did the last issue of Mortal X-Men.
I think you're right.
Um,
Yeah.
but even then, it just seems even muddier than that previous issue, because what's happening in this issue is a lot more. There's a lot of big fight scenes and a lot of stuff tried
That
to
could be.
be stuffed in, you know, panels that are like a third of the page, and you got to fit like 6 people in there.
Well,
It's
and those
tough.
thicker inks too, I think
Yeah.
had a hard time uh conveying everything.
And I think because it's so narration heavy, it did, like, I think what was the plot of what was happening would have led itself nicely to splash pages. But because you need all those narration boxes, you can't really do all that on one splash page because it's telling us so much.
Yeah, Al's not Bendis. Like,
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. You guys have brought up the introducing all the characters. I guess the what I didn't mind that as much. I still don't know who John Ironside is. Iron Fire? Iron
There we go. John
Yeah.
Ironfire, yeah.
Is it Iron Fire? Okay. But the the Legion of Substitute Fives, I thought was really cool. I really like that makeshift,
Sure, yeah.
Krakoa rebirth team.
Tyler, why did you link that? Why did you link us the reviews this book is getting?
Oh
I
no.
was linking you to the cover that you should have gotten.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wasn't sure. Wait, that I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, this event.
Damn. You got a Warner brother. I wasn't prepared for that.
I was trying to. I wanted to see reactions live. Never mind. Look up the Sway variant cover, guys, for this issue.
I wasn't even phased by the cover.
Yeah,
like I didn't even really notice that part. Like at the end of the day, all of this is basically not going to be relevant, right? So I get the desire to go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
You might as well, right? Like why not? So Al Ewing goes full Al Ewing, as Tyler said. That's either going to work for you or it's not. I think it would have worked a lot better for me were this 5 issues instead of 3. But I don't want extra issues of Sins of Sinister. So I'm going to take what we got, right? I'm going to take it. I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to move on. And I'm going to act like my reality got snapped too. Like when this whole thing ends and they eventually use a Moira to reset the whole thing, I'm going to act like that happened to me. And I'm going to forget this. I'm going to forget it. I'm not going to remember Mommy Emma, Mommy Meki Emma. I'm not going to remember that. I'm not going to remember Uber Storm. I'm going to forget about all of it. John Ironside, Ironfire, whoever he is, I'm forgetting that too.
Well, he's going to be coming back in the main continuity.
Well, you know what? I'm going to forget where he ends up. And guess what?
Fresh new character.
I'll forget him even when they bring him back because I wasn't paying attention to him anyway.
Fair. I did like the idea that Storm's mutant power is not weather manipulation, but electron manipulation. And like
that's just.
I'm trying to find things I liked about this. I like the Philosopher King in the YouTube pig. Chat. Philosopher King said, "This book had me hating Sins of Sinister again." I feel like all of us, even in the chat, have flip-flopped so much on this whole series.
Yeah. So. It's uneven. It really is. And I agree on the art concerns. I don't think Vidi was the right choice for this book. I generally enjoy what Alessandro does, but and I think it worked a lot better in Immoral. But when there's so much going on, page over page, to have that muddiness to it, I don't think it really underscores the grandeur of what we're seeing. And I think some of this could have looked a lot cooler if a more appropriate artist were chosen, given the subject matter. It's not a criticism of Vidi. It's more just, I think, a mismatch.
Especially the art between the issue previous to Immoral last week and Vidi being on Immoral. I feel like that was a big jump.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. I'm just puzzled by this. I'm puzzled by all of this. I'm puzzled by the decision to make this event. I'm puzzled by the art choices. I'm puzzled by this giant mecha Emma who's making me feel things I don't want to. I'm just confused.
My man's never seen Evangelion.
Feeling what, Sean?
What?
What were you feeling?
I'm feeling like I'm going to pass on this one.
Got it. Nice save.
You know what? It's my pay of the week.
Oh, wait, what?
Wow.
I didn't like Guardians that much.
Oh, forget Guardians. What about the next book?
I
have
complaints. I have thoughts. They're not bad, but they're just kind of.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. All
what
right.
What is the next book, Sean?
The next book is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo, WhereWhen #1 by Stan Sakai.
Woo!
With hi-fi design. I assume on the letters. Wow. This is something that if it weren't for this podcast, I probably would never have purchased. It just wouldn't have been on my radar. I thought we would do something a little different today. Make Kale happy.
Yeah, this is unprompted. You just put this on the thing. You're like, this is what we're doing. I was like, whoa, hold on.
I was gonna miss today because I had some deadlines and I was like, well, I can't do that.
High five, by the way, on the colors. I've never read anything, I don't think, of Usagi Yojimbo. So this was my first exposure. And I don't know if probably haven't also read anything by Stan Sakai. This was interesting.
So there was a lot of continuity in Usagi Yojimbo here that I don't even know about. Not that I'm saying I've read every single one, but I've read quite a bit. And I recognize a lot of the characters, but they're in places I have never seen before. The the hornless rhino, him being married or whatever is like That's absolutely wild to me.
There's like a lot of editor's notes in this. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, this happened in this. Check out this.
Was there? I don't think there was in my edition.
I uh
I
I had a
like
few.
translations, but
I
I
had a
didn't
couple
have
of.
any.
Am I misremembering, Sean? I at least saw
I've
two.
got one. I got one right here at the
Oh yeah,
bottom. Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, that one was like I think that one planted like where it is in continuity.
God,
That's
okay,
the only one.
gotcha.
That's the only one I remember.
It might have just been the one, but I remember it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It looks like it was just that one. Um yeah, I enjoyed the second half a lot. This book is really split into two halves. It's the Usagi Yojimbo portion and then the Turtles portion, and the idea is that at the end, you know, they collide, and issue 2 will show us the reason why everybody wants to buy this comic book. Um, and the first part was steeped. It felt like it was steeped in, as you guys said, like a continuity that I don't know about. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know who these characters are. I don't know what their relationships are. That's not the end of the world. You don't need to know that. What I got out of it is that Usagi Yojimbo clearly is a warrior who has a heart, and he wants to help. He wants to do, and that's all you really need to know from what I can tell. That's fine. I was fine with that. I felt like the art was good for the style that it is, but I had a hard time following where my eyes were supposed to go. Like, what's the next set of panels? Um,
Hmm.
Especially on that one with
yes.
the long top panel.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
holding it up now.
it's got a big meeting, and I was confused by that too.
Can I be
Yeah.
honest?
Um,
I skipped those pages. I saw how many word balloons were in it. And I was like, I don't care, and I just went.
Well, you know what? One of my criticisms is that you didn't miss a beat by doing that.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to put that many words on a page, you've got to justify them.
For me, I knew I can skip those 2 pages when every time previous to that, anytime a character talked to another character, they named that character.
yeah, and that's
Um,
what that page was for.
Yeah, the names were everywhere, and guess what? I still can't remember them.
Right.
There's one.
And
Yeah, you need one.
it was really taking me out of it in a way. Those like those slower scenes where they're just talking to each other. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling it. Um, but you're right, Sean.
It's
I think towards the second half, I was like, okay, this is what I signed up for.
so it's very Usagi is a very slow comic. It's it's probably the closest to a manga you can get without being a manga.
Mm.
Straight up. Uh and that's because like Stan Sakai, I think is Hawaiian. I could be wrong about that. There's a story about him like trying to get it classified as a manga, but it isn't for a
Wait, who
reason.
controls the classification?
I don't know.
Is there a
I don't
panel?
remember the details. But it's a very slow atmospheric book. And a lot of that is because he takes a lot of time to build the environments and draw it and really pull you in with the history and everything. So that's I think like the importance of that page with the long top panel and their battle plans or whatever. But like ultimately, like I think you're right, it really slows it down, and it's not what you come to a Ninja Turtles comic for.
Right. And like once the Ninja Turtles are on the page, the book opens up. It feels more fun. It's more exciting. They're right in a battle. And they waste no time.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that they're referring to these robots as like, wow, these are so advanced. This guy's really from the future. The enemy that they're fighting,
Yeah.
Dr. WhereWhen, and these are
WhereWhen.
generic, the most generic robots imaginable. that had to be on purpose, right? Like that's
In my head
too
though, I'm
funny.
like, oh, that'd be a great action figure, you know.
Yeah,
But I guess that's very Ninja Turtles.
I just yeah.
would
Go ahead.
I would bet that's Sakai just being like, I don't know, now I gotta draw a robot. Well,
I also love how one of the turtle, I think it's Raphael or Michelangelo's like he's from the future. He's from the future. They probably have robots for like everything. And then I guess Raphael's like including delivering pizza. Like that's our world right now. That's today. Domino's has cars that deliver pizza. Anyway,
It's true. Well,
um
Domino's isn't pizza, but
well, I enjoyed this for what it was, but what it made me want is more Ninja Turtles comics, and it made me hungry for what that is like. Like what are the Ninja Turtles comics that I need to go buy? There's an ad actually in here for the Ninja Turtles collection, the volume 1 compendium. It's a really beautiful hardcover edition. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, well, the next time I go to Midtown, I'm buying that. No brainer. I looked at the price, $150.
yep, yep.
Hell no.
But like the IDW run right now is great,
Yeah.
and it's been going for a long time. Yeah. There's another page I think that has a yellow book on that's in like their continuity. That's like the new status quo.
You're talking about here on this page or
No. Well,
okay.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that second one with the yellow turtle,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a new turtle.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
That's not
crazy.
the
There's a new
female
one.
turtle, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. She's the new female turtle
Yeah.
because Venus de Milo is in it now from the Fox Kids Ninja Turtles.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
right.
And
Oh my god.
they've changed
Think
her
about this.
origin a little bit because this new one has had to kind of take it up. Yeah, no, the IDW stuff is great. It's collections I really want.
Wow. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna have to find a way. I'm gonna have to beg, borrow, or steal to get some of this turtle content because these comics look fantastic.
I think if you want to get caught up, I believe quite a bit of it is on Comixology,
Oh, shoot.
unlimited.
I
So
still have that. Oh no.
That's why it exists.
there you go. Now you can catch up on turtles.
You got.
Well, I got for $5 on this one too, but I did have a good time. I'm gonna say pull if you're a Turtles fan. Pull if you're a Usagi Yojimbo fan. I can see this getting pretty fun. I
Yeah.
just don't know if I'm gonna stick around. I probably won't,
It
but
it
I'm not mad at Reddit.
it felt very kiddie.
Mm,
Like if this were an episode of the 90s Turtles, I think it would fit right in.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a pull for me. Unfortunately, not my pick of the week.
Yeah, it's a pass for me. I think it feels like every other Usagi Yojimbo thing I've read, and I can say that it looks good, but storyline wise, it's just not my thing.
That's fair. That is fair. And so now we will move on to the listener pick this week. Every single Friday, we put up a poll that allows you on Twitter, Twitter poll, that allows you to choose which book of 4 you think we should add to Pals Pulls, and then we review it every Thursday. This week, the winner was The Seasons Have Teeth, #1. This is by Dan Waters, with art by Sebastian Cabral, colors by Dan Jackson, lettered by Nate Picos of Blambot.
Oh yeah.
And this is a book that's very, very different, I think, than what we would traditionally review than what I think is generally even on the stands. It's a Boom book. I think Boom taking a chance on something a little bit weird and a little bit atypical for the market right now. I think the market right now really is favoring like stories that feature younger characters who are on some sort of adventure, like leaning into the YA stuff a lot. Um, Whereas this is about an old man. The main character in this book is an old man who is living in the craziest world I can think of, where the seasons are alive and they're personified. Maybe personified is the wrong word because they're not people.
Anthropomorphized.
Sure, there you go. That's a much better word. Thank
Yeah.
you. And it's horrifying. And we're seeing this guy he's a photographer and his mission is to get a snapshot of these seasons, their physical forms. And we're seeing him think about his past and his relationship with his late wife and mistakes he made and things like that. I was actually really compelled by this. I really found a lot to like here.
Yeah.
I think Dan Waters is very good. I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but he's very good at flowery writing. Kind of a pun in this sense too. But like the stuff that he's written for DC, from what I remember, like was it what was the Sandman-esque thing? Not Satan, Lucifer. That's the word I'm looking for. It really works there. I think it works here as well. I think there's some interesting world building that shows enough of it where it's like, okay, I understand what's going on, but I still have a lot of questions left. My only issue with this issue is like I don't know what this does as a comic. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Is it how many issues is it? Like is it just gonna be like 4? Is it a 4-issue thing? Like
that I don't know.
I don't know what the storytelling going like. I can't picture the rest of this book really.
You can't. You really can't.
I can't. I can picture the world, but I can't picture like I don't know where the story's going. Does that make sense?
You really can't. I feel like it's pretty well laid out. The guy's gonna try to take pictures of all the seasons.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
yes.
like it's like what is it, Pokemon
absolutely.
Snap? Like,
or they'll kill him.
Right, or he'll die. Yeah, or die trying.
Maybe then great 50 album, but like I don't care. I don't know of a word beyond that. Like
that's fair.
That was my complaint with this.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but I could have used more. It was very atmospheric. It was very we lived in this guy's head. We lived in his memories, and his memories related to what he was trying to do. And I really enjoyed the wordplay between the art and the dialogue, but there just wasn't quite enough. There wasn't quite enough information. I liked what we got. I really liked what we got. I could have done with more content in it, you know.
I agree. I think if I've ever read a number one, because this very much feels like a traditional number one. It does everything that you expect a number one to do, to the point where yes, it does also feel paint by numbers. I think what makes it stand out for me is the fact that the premise is so different, and we are following a main character that's very atypical. The last book I read that had a main character this old that wasn't superpowered or anything like that was probably like a couple of years ago. I think Jeff Lemire had a book about an old man.
Like every other book, Jeff Lemire
The Maze or something. He was sad about his daughter's death.
Oh,
I can't remember the exact.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I appreciated that right there. I like the fact that it's doing something different. However, I don't know if I've ever read a number one that more desperately needed 10 pages.
And more pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just needed more. That's all. I don't think there was
That's fair.
anything wrong. I think it just
Yeah.
needed more.
Yeah. I like what he did with what he had. And frankly, for what he had, I like how sparse it even is. Because I think it tells a compelling enough story, a
Mhm.
complete enough story. But with 10 more pages, I think it could have really hooked it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Philosopher King. Yeah, May's book. I agree, and I will say that by the near end of the issue, I was kind of like, all right, what are we doing? What's happening? But once you get to the reveal, I was like, oh shit, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Now,
Yeah.
I will admit, I think that if you had an artist on here, or maybe this is just the premise of the story, but it could have been wilder. Like it could have been more grand and crazier looking, maybe even psychedelic to some degree. Like there could have been an effect that there is on you to see something that monstrous. Um, but all in all, once I got to that part of the story, my breath was taken, and I was like, okay, I'm in the driver's seat. What the hell's about to happen?
Yeah. I kept waiting for it to flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
I
almost
think that was the exciting part.
Yeah.
I would have almost ended it revealing that giant spring thing,
Yeah.
you know? Just in terms of the pace of it, because I felt like we hit that a high point, and then like afterwards, and maybe that contributes to me not knowing where the story's gonna be going, because we get there and then it just kind of just disappears, and the story kind of just falters for me
Well,
there.
think about this though, right? If the story, because we got to put everything into context, right? He sees, and I'm sorry, this is deep spoilers, but he sees this creature, right? Spring, and I think we're in spring. Yeah, he sees spring, and he thinks, "Oh my god, this is the end of everything. I'm gonna die. Everything's over." And these kids who remind him of himself when he was young,
Hmm.
right? They go up to it. They don't have the same fear that he has. And he's thinking, these idiot kids, how dare they? They're going to die. We're all dead. And then nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
If the book ends with you seeing that big creature, and then the first five pages of issue 2 show that nothing happened, that's pretty disappointing. I like the fact that the book
Fair.
immediately questions this guy. It immediately says, "Do you know everything you think you know about the way the world works?" It puts into question the mentality of older, more mature individuals who think they know everything. This is a guy who in a lot of ways, you know, pivoted his whole life in a weird direction due to his immaturity. You know, the mistakes of youth. So he thinks every young person is like he was. But we need that fire. And I love that this issue takes the time to say that. I thought this was fantastic. This was my book of the
Yeah.
week coming into this. And I think now speaking about it, it's once again my book of the week.
Oh, you flip flopped again, like Sins of Sinister.
I did, dude. I'm just a big flip flopper.
Yeah. I thought this ruled.
Um, I mean, I enjoy it now that I hearing you talk about that, Sean. I do enjoy it more.
Oh, good.
It did look good too. I'll say the Sebastian Cabral art, very nice.
Yes, I agree with that. I wish that there was a little bit more to the color.
Hmm.
I feel like some of those flashback sequences, they're bathed in green. That's deliberate, but they just don't really pop. They don't have. I don't really think anything in the book really has too much pop to it, except spring, and that kind of made things feel a little bit duller from a visual standpoint to me. But the art quality, I think, is there.
I have to imagine that's on purpose
Yeah,
because, when you hit summer and autumn, those are going to be alive. But then, say it's a 4-issue series and you have, winter as the last one, like that book's going to be dead.
yeah. And like I'm so excited to see that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to that and see what that looks like. I'm actually on the hook for this.
Mhm.
I'm on the hook. I want to see where
Interesting.
Dan Waters goes. I can't even think of another Dan Waters book.
feel like we've read one. I could not tell you what it is.
House of Whispers, Lucifer.
I know he's on the Loki book. I believe that's coming
Who
out.
worked on Dark Crisis, The Deadly Green, which is that Swamp Thing kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Well,
worked
that
on
doesn't really
Infinite
count
Frontier,
because there's so much
Homesick
going on.
Pilots, a couple stuff here and there.
I think not only do I say this is my pick of the week, but I think you should challenge yourself. If you've got a little bit extra cash and you want to read a book that's different, I think you should try this. I really do. It's different.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
This is what I think of when I want something different out of comics, away from, superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say pull it too. If you want to read some real good Dan Water stuff, he did Arkham City with Danny on art.
Oh,
And that is
okay.
Great stuff.
I'm looking up the answer now as to whether this is going to be a limited series or not. It
figure
feels like it is. It doesn't. It's 4 issues actually. I just learned now. So only 4 issues. I think it's worth your time. Whoa, $7 price point though for this cover. I will not be doing the hollow cover again. I'll tell you that right now.
Was that the only one they had? Is that why, or you just thought it was cool?
You know what? Actually, because I've been sick, I did not go to Midtown this week. Someone in my life went for me, and they made the decisions about the covers.
Bean probably went.
Yeah, my cousin went.
Bean gets those crazy covers.
That's it, man.
Yeah. All right, so those are the reviews, but we are not done because we want to let you guys know what books we're looking forward to next week in a segment that we like to call Pals Pulls. Tyler, take it away.
Let's pull our pals here. So Sean, you wanted to check out Amazing Spider-Man number 24.
Yeah, I am all in on this arc. I think it's been really cool. I have a fun story to tell on Saturday that relates to this to issue 23. But we'll save that for that podcast. I've been loving it. It's getting a lot of hate, but I think what Zeb Wells and Romita Jr. are doing is fun. It's exciting. It feels like Spider-Man. And I have been waiting to feel this feeling about a Spider-Man comic for a very long time. So can't wait to find out what Peter did.
Is it really getting hate?
Oh, yes.
You hate on this podcast. You kidding me?
I've only heard the people I've talked to have only liked it. So.
Oof.
Besides, I think you, Cal.
Dude, people say that he is cast like warping the characters' personalities to justify the story, that Peter would never team up with Norman, Peter wouldn't punch Cap. Why can't they just talk it out? Blah, 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 blah.
Storytelling. Never mind. All right, whatever. And I wanted to check out the final issue of Deceased: War of the Undead Gods. Finally got caught up to this yesterday or Tuesday. This is fun. There's some wacky stuff that happens in this book. I don't even want to spoil what happens in it, but because it's out of continuity, it lets characters grow in some really, really unexpected ways. I'd recommend checking this book out. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's Trevor Hairsine on art, Tom Taylor on writing. It's the final issue of this volume of it. I don't know how many more we'll have, but we'll see. And I also wanted to check out Avengers Assemble Omega. This is the final Jason Aaron Avengers book. So we'll see what happens.
We might end up reviewing that.
We might.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what the consensus, once this is all done, of Jason Aaron's Avengers run. I read every issue, so I have thoughts, but
who's this guy on the cover?
Which
robot guy?
That is the Invincible Ant-Man. That's Tony Stark as an Ant-Man from an alternate reality.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that one bit.
Uh-huh. He still has a drinking problem. Oh, he just got over his drinking problem, though. And Kazar is a Herald of Galactus on the cover there, too. That's what's happening on that book.
I do like that.
Yeah. Gorilla Man's a vampire. All right.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Kale, Superboy.
Yeah, so the one true Superboy. Nice Philosopher King.
Yeah.
Connor Kent is here with his own title. I think this is the first return of the 90s Superboy since he's been back. I don't think there's
I
been
think
another
so. You are
Superboy
correct.
title.
Yeah, you are correct.
So I think this will have been. Oh no, that's not right. Anyway, I'm pumped about this.
I really like
This
this.
is my Superboy. Listen, John Kent is fine. Y'all can have him.
I might even pick this up just if I could find this cover. This is a really cool Joe Quinones cover on here.
That's a fucking
It has a lot of
beefcakes, man.
homages. It has the Teen Titans and a Demon Days Gorillas tribute, cover there. It's got, Enema of the State with that Lightning character from Superman and Daft Punk Robot Man. Yeah, it's my jam. I'm gonna try and find this cover. It looks a lot of fun. So, this was I brain farted. Did you mention this is the one that won that poll, the DC round robin thing?
No, I didn't, because I don't know anything about that, and I don't care to acknowledge it.
I don't know if it won, but it was part of it.
I think it did win. Yeah, I think it did.
It's like that Blue Beetle book that came out that we were on. And then you want to check out Hellcat #2.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Me too.
the first Hellcat. I like the twist of it being Hellcat being a traditionally romance character turned superhero, and this book turns all of that on its head into like a magic based dark guy story.
Magic based dark guy story. Heard it here first, folks. Yeah.
And
the rest doesn't matter. So
that's right. It doesn't. Don't you forget it.
I learned my lesson.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here on Pals Pulls. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before you leave, make sure you do hit that like button if you are watching live on YouTube. If you're watching or listening anywhere else, there is a way to support. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. There is a comment section for you to leave a review. Leave us a